stuff going on here, and for those of you who are here for the official launch of the book, Hope on the River, an unlikely captain's 1,700-mile Mississippi River journey on a leaky raft to save his nonprofit, I want to say thanks for being here. We got a really short little program because we got a band going on, we got a wedding going on, we got a river going on. That's what goes on next to a river, a lot of stuff, right? And it gives me great joy to be able to share this evening with a good friend of mine and somebody who I've had the opportunity to spend a lot of time over the years both having hope and sometimes having to try to find it. Here with us tonight, Senator Norm Coleman, who wrote the foreword for the book, and this is a pretty informal little program, but I thought it'd be great to have Norm here to say a few words and maybe read his foreword and just share a little bit about the journey that he and I have had together. So there you have it.
So Eric gave me the opportunity to give a speech. How can I say no? I mean, goodness gracious, wouldn't miss the opportunity. But on a serious note, I'd say being here brings back just so many memories. When I got elected, we got elected, and folks here got me elected, Mayor of St. Paul, 28 years ago. 28 years ago. At the very beginning, the heart of what we did, and Erich was an integral part of that. We've been partners now for almost 30 years, 3 decades. But at the center of all that we did in terms of trying to revitalize this magnificent city, the beginning of the Navajo headwaters, the Mississippi River, was the Mississippi River. That was our vision. That was the thing that we could pull this city together. And none of this was here. None of this was here. NSP, XL, they were on the road, facing the river. We got them they agreed to move back. We were looking at planting 1 million trees. I mean, and it was a vision. And a lot of folks, by the way, aren't here who were part of that vision. And it predated me. George Latimer had that vision. And when we tried to bring it to life, Dick Broker, some people, he's not with us, he had that vision. Jack Heschler, and I could go on and on, all these folks who, in the end came together and really created something that's spectacular. I gotta tell you, this filled my heart being here. And it is so appropriate that I'm here with Erich, and he has a book that recounts a journey. And by the way, no one conquers the Mississippi, one survives the Mississippi. I thought he was insane to even try this, but how many people thought that? We all did. It is who he is, and it's what inspired me for these 3 decades. This drive to simply do what some say can't be done and to make it happen, and for the right cause, for the right purpose. And by the way, Betty is his mom here. I just love dearly. Give a round of applause. He wouldn't be here without her, let me tell you that, okay? And the apple then didn't fall far from the tree, and he's lucky because of that. But I'm thrilled to be here today. I'm thrilled to be here in this, really almost this hallowed ground. That's what it is, it's hallowed ground. And I'm thrilled that Erich had the courage to say, I'm gonna tame something, I'm gonna do something that folks say can't be done, I'm gonna make it happen, and all for the right purpose. So I did write a foreword. Erich, can I read the? Please. Okay. The mighty Mississippi evokes some powerful imagery. It's an artery that runs through the heart of America, and along the way it pumps life into countless towns and cities from Minnesota to Louisiana. In the fall of 2020, at the height of the COVID pandemic, Erich Mische journeyed down the mighty Mississippi from St. Paul, Minnesota to Baton Rouge, Louisiana, in a homemade makeshift raft. It was a journey in which he encountered big barges and high hopes, and although he had no nautical skills or experience, he survived to tell the tale. Certainly this excursion does not have the grandeur of Sir Edmund Hillary scaling the summit of Mount Everest, or William Perry being the first to reach the North Pole, or even Minnesota's own Charles Lucky Lindbergh soloing across the Atlantic. But in a time of COVID darkness, Mische encountered countless rays of hope, from the story of those who lived and worked on the river to the timeless grandeur of the Mississippi itself. And Mische's retelling of this journey of hope will bring hope and optimism, which is so desperately needed today. those words are truer today than when they were even written a few months ago. I've known Erich Mische for almost 30 years. He ran my successful campaign for mayor of St. Paul in 1993. He was my chief of staff when I served in the United States Senate. He wrote countless speeches and press releases for me. He knows how to communicate, and that will be obvious to readers of Hope on the River. In the fall of 2020, Erich took it upon himself to conquer the Mississippi by traversing it in his raft to raise money for the charity he has led for the past 9 years, Spare Key. This organization helps families dealing with medical crises avoid financial crises to their lives by assisting them in paying their bills. Surely it was a noble effort, but at significant risk and a little crazy. Because the one thing Erich is not is a mariner. He is not skilled in sailing or river navigation or boat building, but Erich is a storyteller. And along the banks of the Mississippi, he encountered stories to tell, stories that reflect the American spirit, stories that reflect the power of this iconic river, stories of individuals and communities staying afloat in the midst of a COVID pandemic. And in times like this, we need those stories. As so many struggle to get their lives back on course almost a year into the global pandemic, now 2 years into a global pandemic, we should welcome Erich Mische's journey of hope. For some, it will be an inspiration to do what others tell them can't be done. Those that live their lives on the mighty rivers like the Mississippi will tell you they can be dangerous, particularly with someone unschooled in river currents, passing through locks and dams and avoiding getting crushed or capsized by massive towboats. When Mische first discussed his proposed quest, I thought he was insane and that he was going to get himself killed. And as one reads his journals, there were numerous occasions where he must have thought those fears were going to be realized. But he persevered and made it to Baton Rouge. I hope this journey story encourages folks to dream big, stay the course, and achieve what others tell you can't be done. This chronicles significant contribution and reminds us that the American spirit is alive and well, even in the midst of a COVID pandemic. This country made its way from sea to shining sea by folks with grit and perseverance. In these modern times, those attributes are still required for folks who live and work in the shadow of the mighty Mississippi. And though many of the normal gathering spots, bars, and restaurants were shuttered by the pandemic, Mische was still able to connect with folks along the way, graced by their hospitality, and now as a storyteller telling their story. But most of all, this is Erich Mische's story. Motivated by his desire to help sick kids and their families, he committed himself both physically and emotionally to challenge Mother Nature, and he persevered. This book is about hope. Hoping that you didn't commit yourself to something that will kill you. Hope that your efforts would allow Spare Key to continue to help families focus on their loved ones and not their bills during the medical crisis. Hope that kept river towns alive during the terrible pandemic. Hope that keeps you going even when reality tells you it's time to quit. Hope is a powerful elixir. We need it now more than ever. And Erich Mische gives us a healthy dose of hope on the river. It's an American story, and it's worth telling. It has been said that one light has the power to conquer all darkness. This journey of hope is such a light. Erich, love you.
Thanks, Jordan. This journey really kind of started out at a place of desperation, right? And we've all kind of been there. In the last year and a half, last couple of years, it's really easy to kind of find the darkness, right? It's easy to keep looking for it. And there's plenty of people that want to share it with us. And the thing that I found every single day, not just on the river, but the weeks and the months leading up to it, was a lot of people looking for hope. And my goal at the end of the day was to survive the trip, obviously,